but they can't because Tesla puts in ridiculous policies to prop up their quarterly earnings and screw people out of their money.
Okay, yeah, another misstatement. So Tesla cares only about quarterly earnings, yet Elon Musk is the person who literally wrote an internal email that got leaked out, internal email saying we cannot think quarter to quarter. We need to get away from that mentality and we need to think about the bigger picture. We need to do what's right for the moment and stop living for end of quarter deliveries.
Take this call as an example. This was a guy who bought a Tesla Model S Plaid, $130,000, $40,000 car. After a short time, the car had to go back into service, and it's been in service for over 50% of the time that he's owned it. Meanwhile, they continue to charge him for the full self-driving subscription. Now, it's only a couple $100 a month, and he's rich, so who cares? But when he asked for a return, this is what happened.
I mean, at this point, no, right? The FSD is a subscription service for literally exactly that, to be used. You have to cancel that if you didn't want to use it. It's not something that just comes off just because you're disputing something with Tesla. Would it be able to refund that you've been paying the subscription?
Well, I apologize. It's not that I'm disputing something with Tesla. The car is broken, right? So, yes, I paid for a subscription, but the thing that I was buying as part of the subscription, the use of FSD, wasn't delivered to me because the car was broken.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's why you're supposed to go onto your account and, stop paying for the subscription.
Right. I mean, that I could see why you would say that if A, I remembered that was the case, and B, if my subscription date actually lined up with the times of service, but I would lose at least half a month, if not more. And C, just realistically, right? They've been stringing me along for weeks and weeks and weeks saying, yeah, we're going to get it in. Yeah, we're just waiting on the part. Yeah, it should be no problem. Yeah, we think we really fixed it this time, right? I have no way of knowing the actual completion date. It's always like 4 days away, but 4 days never comes. So realistically, how am I supposed to do this? Am I just supposed to say, I don't trust any of the estimates that Tesla gives me, so I should cancel this thing? I mean, I thought this would be automatic.
I mean, I can transfer you to service so that you can talk to them about, the service going on your vehicle. But in terms of the refund for the FSD, that's just not going to happen. We don't even have a system in place for that because you're supposed to go in and cancel your subscription if you knew you were going to have the vehicle. So, I mean, they're not going to refund you for that. We don't have a system to refund that.
But you understand, I didn't know, right? Like, I didn't know how long it was going to be broken. It's not possible for me to know that. It's not possible for me to know how long it will take Tesla to get a part or anything like that. I can't.
But it is possible for you to go onto your account and cancel your subscription.
You're blaming me for this? Really? My $100,000+ car has been broken for most of the time I ordered it, and you guys happen to get a credit card.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just telling you why they're not going to refund you for that.
Right, but you can't legally charge me for something you didn't deliver.
The focus on quarterly profits has been a big thing for Elon Musk for a long time.
All right, we got a lot to talk about here. So I know that Ben here tried to put that recording clip in there to try to be like, okay, this will definitely convince everybody that Tesla's evil, Elon's bad, and all he cares about is quarterly earnings and all that, which, again, furthest thing from the truth. All right, let's break this down. First of all, again, I don't know. This is these YouTubers that have, 200,000+ subscribers. They've also obviously gotten pretty good at this game. They know how to do all these edits to, evoke certain emotions and stuff. So he had the Tesla employee looking like a bad guy, just the way he was dressed, just robotic. And then he had the customer looking very like a nice guy, a sympathetic guy, a guy you go grab a beer with. But all right, here's the reality. First of all, okay, to sit there and say that your Tesla is broken. Okay, well, what's broken? Like, where's the context of it? Like, is it, you're missing a certain part or something went bad and so you had to take it in? Was the touchscreen just not working? Did you have something wrong with one of your rotors? Did it catch on fire? Is the battery just not charging? I mean, you got to give context. You can't just say it's broken, right? Because that just makes you sound like you don't really know what you're talking about. 2, look, you bought the vehicle. It was delivered to you. Okay, you had a problem. Something happened, so you had to take it into service. I get it. That sucks. With you there, 100%. But before that happened, or even after that happened, you chose to pay for a subscription for full self-driving beta. And that subscription is monthly. It's by month, right? It's not a yearly thing or anything. It goes by month. Okay, so once you had to put your vehicle into service, what you should have done as an adult is cancel your subscription because you're not using the vehicle. Just like everybody else in the world has to do. Everybody in the world. When I go out of town, when we go out of the country for a month, guess what we do? We stop our mail like adults. Guess what? If my TV broke, guess what I'll do? I'll stop my subscription services. Like, you have to be an adult, all right? Like, you can't sit there and put the blame on a company for you not doing what you're supposed to do, right? It's like I signed up for a 1 week trial for HBO Go Max, and my TV broke halfway through, but you're still charging me for a renewal of subscription after that? Well, okay, I was supposed to go in and cancel it because it was going to auto renew. And I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that, or I wasn't aware my TV was going to break. I mean, look, stop it, man. Like, you can afford to spend $140,000 or whatever on a Model S, and you're going to call to complain about $200-$300 of a subscription for 1 month. Like, the only reason you would do that and record yourself would be for some kind of narrative, right? Some kind of media thing. Nobody's actually who can afford that going to waste their time on that, especially when you're clearly in the wrong. Look, I get it. You took your shot. I can't blame you. But to sit there and say that you're doing this from a benevolent and just agenda, or just, hey, I might as well call and see what could happen. If I can get my money back, great. If not, oh well. Like, that'd be one thing, right? I would do that too. I'd be like, hey, look, yeah, I guess this happened. Can I get a credit for when my vehicle is ready, move it forward? Or I would try to do something, right? I'm human. I try to negotiate. I get it. But for you to sit there and record it, that just seems a little disingenuous. Okay, and then on top of that, look, Tesla, Elon has been very clear. He really put his foot in his mouth when he sit there and say, really? I spent over $100,000 on a car and you're going to tell me it's my fault? Yes, it is your fault. Sorry, brother. You messed up. You messed up. No one else messed up. You should have canceled your subscription. It sucks. We've all been there. We've all screwed up. Hey, I had in my AWS account, I accidentally left one of my EC2 instances running. And guess what? I got charged $15 for it, even though I thought I closed out of it and I deleted my entire account. Guess what? I got charged for it. I can't go to AWS and be like, hey, I didn't mean to run this EC2 instance. Right? No, it doesn't work. I screwed up. It's all me. I have to pay my dues. Now, once he says, really, I pay $100,000 whatever dollars, look, Tesla and Elon has been very clear about this. They don't give discounts. That's not what they do. They're not in that game. They're not a car dealership. You're not going to get away with anything because you are a certain person or you spent a certain amount of money. Perfect example. Look at the Hertz deal. Tesla and Elon tweeted explicitly, Hertz will have to pay the same price every other person has to pay for a vehicle. They will not be given a discount. Not happening. All right? To Hertz, who said they were going to buy over 100,000 vehicles. Over 100,000 vehicles. And Elon was still adamant saying, you're not getting a discount. So you spend $100,000 on a vehicle and you think that Tesla is going to somehow, no, sorry, buddy. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Doesn't matter who you are. Fair is fair. Everybody else would have to deal with this. So suck it up. Get over it. All right? You messed up. Own it. Enough with this world of people not owning their mess ups. And especially for you, like somebody who, you have a Model S, you can obviously take this hit. It's not a big hit for you. All right? I guarantee you the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, whenever they get into a bind like this, nobody gives them a break. Nobody gives them a handout. Nobody says, oh, okay, well, you've been a loyal customer. No. So why should you? You're the last person that should ever be given any kind of credit for anything. All right? You can afford it, and you're just sitting there being greedy and trying to complain, and you're recording this intentionally for what? What's the motive there? There's no positive agenda. So, look, Ben, sorry, I know you tried to put this in here to be like the stamp of like, there, I got you. That's the kibosh, but you did the exact opposite, in my opinion. Like, this guy is a clown. the way you're acting, the way you're putting this video together, to me, it seems like you're a clown. You haven't really said anything of substance. There's no technical backing behind anything. And honestly, at this point, I think you've just lost all credibility so far with me. But I'm going to try to be open-minded. Maybe you round this up in a nice bow and have somewhat of a point where I can be like, okay, I can see what you're saying there, but I don't agree. I'm hoping for that moment. But so far, everything's been, no, you're wrong, or you haven't said anything, right? Oh, Tesla insurance has been a disaster. Why? Waiting.
And it all seems to spawn right around the time when his compensation package was tied to that, which is typical for CEOs. And this is where Tesla is falling into the trap that all other public companies have, which is being very short-sighted at the expense of their customers, the most important part of their business. And if you're one of those people listening that is like, oh my God, what are you talking about? You're crazy. I've had only the best thing ever. First off, just want to welcome you for being a new owner and tell you that there's a saying that my friend Rich Rebuilds has, which is just give it time. Just give it time.
All cars are going to need work after some point in time, obviously, as they age. The reason why your Tesla's been in the shop more than any other car, I'm not really sure. I really couldn't answer that question for you.
Yeah.
But what I can answer is what happens when you bring other cars for service. Like I have an Audi, and whenever I need to bring that car in for service, I could literally get in there probably within no more than 2 days.
Right.
3 days is like, whoa, what's going on here? Because, in my state, there are several Audi dealerships to choose from. There's several of them.
Yeah.
So I just keep calling around till they say, oh, yeah, can you get me in? Sure, we got a loaner for you, no problem. A large manufacturer without a loaner car, that's not even an option.
Right. Right.
I've been present at Audi when they said we don't have any loaner cars. That is an explosion. but it's funny. Whereas Tesla, it's like it's almost expected. It's almost like, oh, they're busy. It's no big deal. So that's the difference. It's all cars need to go in for work. Tesla's tough because they're doing such big things right now that they're rushing these cars out, and they figure this: if you rush 100 cars out, right? They know that some cars are going to come back at some point, but they're kind of like, they're kind of hedging that and saying to themselves, wait a minute, if we pump out 100 cars and only like 20 come back, that's actually not that bad.
And this is a problem I've seen firsthand in the 20 years I spent in corporate America, where...
Okay, so I paused a little late there because I want to hear what he had to say. So now we know he spent 20 years in corporate America, which, okay, so definitely not a law background, definitely some kind of MBA business school person, tells me a lot. Now, it's funny that he put in that clip talking to, again, I don't even know who that is. I'm sure he's another YouTuber, probably pretty big, but he actually spoke with a lot of logic. Yes, every car eventually needs some work. Teslas tend to need less work. I will point that out. And then his example about Audi, sitting there talking about how if he needs something with an Audi dealership, it at most 2 days. But then he also goes on to say, but Tesla's just doing so much so fast that they're doing what they can. And here's the difference. Tesla is a brand new car company. We haven't seen a new car company succeed in over 100 years, and then here comes Tesla, all right? Maybe not 100 years, but you get my point. He used Audi as an example. Yeah, sure. Audi has many, many dealerships there. But guess what? Tesla's a new company. Just like they didn't have that many supercharging stations to begin with, well, they don't have a lot of service stations yet. They're growing. They're expanding. It's going to take time. All right. Anytime you invest in new technology, you got to be patient with it. It's going to get there. It'll develop. It'll go out there. But I would also say you don't see these other auto manufacturers having a, at-home service center, right, where a truck or a van will come to you to fix your vehicle or whatever's wrong with it, whether you're at home, whether you're at work, right? So, you kind of got to weigh that. And you have to understand Teslas do tend to need less work. Now, as far as what he was saying about, Tesla's just trying to pump these cars out as fast as possible and saying, oh, well, if 80 of them are good and only 20 come back, well, that's not that bad. That's kind of putting, your thoughts of what Tesla's thinking internally. And I would say it's the exact opposite of everything to do with Tesla. Tesla's motto is the best part is no part. The best input is no input, or any input is error. And so their motto is also that any maintenance shows error, right? So anything you have to come in for other than tires, brakes, right? Like then there's an issue. And so Tesla's trying to get to a perfection, right? They're trying to get to Lego type precision. Even Sandy Munro has talked about how the Teslas that come out now are as good, if not better than qualities of Bentley and Rolls-Royce.
A company just thinks they can grow their way out of all their problems. Sales cures all, until it doesn't. You see, the problem is that you can cancel these other dumb projects. You can stop doing this Tesla bot. You can stop this nonsense with full self-driving, but you can't cancel these bad experiences. For example, this woman here had her car delivered without brake pads. And then when she sent the video of the car making this weird sound to service, they told her that was normal. She takes it into a third-party shop. They see there's a missing brake pad, and let's fix it right away.
Words matter. Things you say matter. So this lady sent a video clip in of the vehicle making a certain sound. Now, any of you who have ever actually worked on vehicles, all right, and again, I'm speaking as I'm putting my mechanical engineering hat on, right? And I grew up working under the hood of cars, okay? I grew up working on Model Ts, on old Barracudas, right? So I grew up working on vehicles. Look, when you put in new brake pads on cars, it is common to have a squeak or a squeal sound from those new brakes. That is common. That's not unheard of. Okay, so maybe that's what they're referring to. But again, they just got a video of it. You hear him say that, her vehicle got delivered without any brake pads, yet then he says that she took it into a third party and they saw that it was missing a brake pad. Again, there's a big difference between there being no brake pads and missing one brake pad and taking it into a third party auto mechanic who is putting eyes on it. Right? One individual, Tesla Service Center, only got a video from afar. Another individual got to put actual eyes on it, probably remove the tire, probably listen to it, probably be able to look into it. Right? There's a big difference here. Right? These words matter. Like, this is just disingenuous, and it's comical. Like, the only people who are gonna fall for this are people who want to believe everything he says, and people who aren't gonna challenge. But I mean, hey, I guess it's working for him. Again, he has over 200,000 subscribers, so hey, good for him, I guess. But unfortunate for him, there are people like myself coming up who, we're going to grow. I believe it. My channel is growing quickly, and I'm happy about that because it gives me faith that people are choosing to follow channels that are going to give them more context and more nuance behind what we're talking about and call people like this out. Right? I'm sorry. Like, I kind of didn't want to make this video, to be honest, because I don't want to give any kind of, kudos or give any more advertisement towards people who just don't know what they're talking about. But this guy who's spent 20 years in corporate America, who's clearly an MBA, who might be a little butthurt about Elon's comments about MBAs. Again, nothing wrong with MBAs. Lots of my friends are MBAs. But no MBA should be telling engineers how to do their job, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. So again, this guy, he's just nothing but word salad with everything he says.
She is never going to recommend a Tesla to anyone else out there, no matter how great the car is. Every person she comes in contact with, she is going to tell this horror story to, and that is going to spread like a virus to her community and everyone around her.
Okay. All right, come on. Let's have a little bit of logic here. She is never going to recommend a Tesla to anybody in her community. It's going to spread like a virus throughout her entire community because she was missing one brake pad. That's why? Really? Sorry. So even no matter how great the vehicle is, she's never going to recommend it to anybody? Let me ask you this. She uses autopilot one time on the highway, has to take a road trip 6 hours, and she barely has to do any driving. You don't think she's going to recommend it to her friends? All right, another example. She realizes how much money she's saving on gas, especially right now with the price of gas and inflation and everything. You're telling me she's never going to recommend it to anybody? Okay, so she's on autopilot. Maybe she has auto steer, something of the nature, and it saves her from accidentally running over a bicyclist that she didn't see, and she was about to take a left-hand turn, and they were just right there on the bike lane. You're telling me she's never going to recommend anybody? Okay, so you're telling me that maybe she gets in the car and her kids are in the back, and every time that she guns it and floors it, her little girl in the back just smiles and just looks like nothing but jubilation in her face. You're going to tell me she's never going to recommend it to anybody because she was missing one brake pad? Get out of here, man. Get out of here. This guy's funny.
You add in other people that have also had these stories, and then what do you have? You have a growing infection of the community, this kind of rotting core of people out there, this big kind of negative sentiment that Tesla makes crap cars. And I'm not the only one saying it.
This guy is a growing infection. Sorry, that was mean. That Tesla makes crap cars. So I'm missing a brake pad, so Tesla makes crap cars. One person experiences a missing brake pad, so Tesla makes crap cars. So a brake pad means bad cars? I don't understand this. I really don't understand this. Maybe if you said there's something wrong with the motor or the BMS system or the interface or something about how you charge or the torque of the vehicle or just the lifespan. I mean, something, right? Or something breaks inside or something like a brake pad. Man, you are putting a lot of value into a damn brake pad. Bless you. My fiance just sneezed. I don't know if you heard that, but sometimes you gotta look this way a little bit. She's doing all the recording, so gotta make sure that she's okay. All right, let's get back to this.
We have some of Tesla's staunchest supporters out there talking about these issues because they need to hear this. This is all out of a place of love.
Now was not talking about brake pads. Now was not talking about Tesla being a bad car or manufactured bad. Now was just talking about not having the best service experience. That's it. So don't sit there and try to, cherry pick this out.
And just to be clear, if you're unfamiliar with my background, I've owned Teslas since 2016. I am a huge fan. I've helped thousands of people go electric through my YouTube channel. Here, I even raised money and delivered a couch personally to Elon Musk when he said he was sleeping in the factory. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fan.
Is it just me or him plugging the whole I delivered Tesla or Elon a couch when he said he was sleeping in the factory seemed like this was a complete stunt to get more subscribers on YouTube or to make it more clickbaity? I feel like I know Ben a little bit now, just watching his video, reviewing it. And, at first, I was kind of against this, but, it's good to know who's out there and good to know who's out there kind of saying things against what you're saying. And I feel like I'm getting to know him a little bit. And what I've learned is he's definitely that MBA business type guy. He's definitely the clickbaity type guy. And he's definitely the kind of guy who would do a stunt to get subscribers. Like, Ben, I've met many of you. And yeah, I don't believe any of this was genuine. And to sit there and say you love Tesla, and a second ago you just talked about how they have bad products and what FSD is doing is bad. Look, man, if you're against FSD, then you're against saving lives. That's how I see it.
And it is upsetting and frustrating when I see them doing this dumb stuff. So here's how they can fix it. Step 1, full self-driving should only be considered level 2 autonomy, which basically means a driver assist program. It is about safety. It is not about robo-taxis that make you millions of dollars or whatever kind of nonsense Elon wants to spout to try to sell people on their Cybertruck reservations. In fact, they've even admitted this to the DMV here in California, that this system will only ever be level 2, not level 4, which is the kind of full autonomy version.
All right, let's stop here for 1 second. This is a flat out lie. Look, before I gave him some wiggle room, saying maybe he's just being creative, maybe he doesn't understand something, maybe he's just trying to be, I don't know, provocative. I don't know, but this is a lie. First of all, number one, Tesla, Elon have always said that right now where it's at, it is level 2. So for him to say that it's all it'll ever be, well, that's a little different. But right now, Tesla's never advertised it being anything other than level 2. The goal, the dream is to get to robo-taxis. The goal, the dream is to get to full autonomous. And then he brings this up. He brings this article up. Look, I'm going to pause it. It's paused right now. So take a look at this. Tesla tells California DMV that FSD is not capable of autonomous driving. Yeah, we all know that. If it was, Tesla would be $5 to $10 trillion right now. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. If you read this article, again, this came out about a year ago now. This article was their lawyer saying right now, as it stands, right? Like, words matter, Ben. Like, he's talking about now. At no point in this article did they talk about in the future. Look it up. Like, again, maybe I'm wrong. Keep me honest. I read this about a year ago. But from what I remember, at no point, and even with this title, they're talking about in the moment, right now. They're not talking about in the future. All right? How can you sit there and say in the future something won't be something? We don't know. We have no idea. So this makes no sense.
So who do you believe here? Are they lying to the public or lying to the DMV? Let me know what you think in the comments. And then when it comes to these idiotic ideas like the Tesla bot, you have to cancel this whole thing. Do not spend an ounce of energy on this dumb project. It is not a part of your mission. Let someone else, like maybe Boston Dynamics, who's been working on it for decades and doesn't think they're even close to it, let them do it.
You're right. It's not part of your mission. A humanoid that could potentially put solar panels and solar roof on houses. That's not part of your mission. A humanoid that can do jobs that are dangerous and potentially protect lives rather than other people having to do it. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, so all Tesla has to do is change we're back to this, right? The mission statement. So if Tesla just adds and preserve human life, then all of this goes away. Every single argument he has said so far in this video is gone, and Tesla will succeed forever. That's it. That's all you have to do. Change their mission statement. That's all they have to do.
They have the expertise, they have everything, and that is where it should live. Now, if you want to fund that project, you want to buy a part of Boston Dynamics, sure. This is all big business, corporate mergers type stuff that happens. But
oh my goodness. All right. 100%, I would put money on it. He's not an engineer. All right. First of all, Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics is good with some things and not others. They are good at, you could say, parlor tricks or showing the potential of what can be done with certain electrical components, certain mechanical components, certain actuators, things of that nature, of being able to make these robots do certain things, right? We've all seen the videos of them dancing, all that. However, there's a difference between making the mechanical things work and actually having the software to make it understand what it's doing. Okay, there's a huge difference, right? That's the equivalent of saying, hey, I know how to make this car run, but to make it run itself. So with his logic, Ford and GM are the experts when it comes to autonomous driving because they are the ones who have been in the space and they know how to make cars. Weird, because last I checked, Tesla's the one who's leading all this. Last I checked, it's Waymo, it's Cruise. It's not any of these main car manufacturers. It's the software that matters. Look, again, this guy doesn't understand this. Boston Dynamics, they're great with the hardware. They're great with some type of heuristic type coding, some C++ around certain actionable items for these robots to do. But the idea with full self-driving is to be able to see the world and do certain tasks and do things, right? And that's where the neural nets come in. He doesn't understand the difference between traditional coding versus what heuristics are versus using neural nets to leverage them to teach themselves and learn from their surroundings, right? It's fundamentally obvious just with that statement, right? So this would be no different than telling Apple, hey, Apple, you're a computer company. Leave the phone stuff to the Nokias, the Blackberries, the Motorola's of the world. You don't know what you're doing. Focus on your computer. Brother, it's all about the software. That's what matters. It has nothing to do with the actual physical component. To a degree, it does. The whole touchscreen idea with Apple, genius, right? That was a big deal. It already existed. Apple perfected it. So it does matter, just as Tesla is trying to perfect the humanoid and the hardware with that versus what Boston Dynamics does. And right, the BMS and all that goes into it. BMS, battery management system, in case I've said that a couple times, in case you don't know. But this is the difference between an engineer and a person who doesn't know anything. Right here, case in point.
Trying to divert your efforts from other things, and well, I'll just let Elon tell you how much of a big deal it is.
I think that actually the most important product development we're doing this year is actually the Optimus humanoid robot. This, I think, has the potential to be more significant than the vehicle business over time.
This is stupid. Cancel the Tesla bot now. Don't even think about other things like a Tesla phone or any of these other dumb, unrelated products. Focus on your mission. And lastly,
this is not stupid. The only thing that needs to be canceled is Ben for his lack of foresight, his speaking on engineering topics that he doesn't understand, and his advice to a company, to a person who has created PayPal, a company that people said, oh, no, we'll never send money over the internet. That'll never happen. To SpaceX, oh, no individual company can create rockets and send them to space and be profitable or anything of that nature, let alone re-land second stages, let alone soon re-land first stages as well. Electric vehicles, that's always just going to be a niche type product. And here we are, everyone's trying to catch up to Tesla. So, like, this guy's man, like, this is just too easy to react to. Like, come on, like, say, he has not said anything at any point where I could be like, that could be a good point at all. All right, honestly, Gordon Johnson makes better arguments than what we've seen here so far. All right, well, this was a fun video. I went through 2 margaritas in this. This was fun. Look, final thoughts. This guy's he's one of those YouTubers that you see and you kind of dismiss. Hey, he's got a lot of subscribers. He's got more subscribers than me, although he's been doing this a lot longer. Hey, to each their own. I hope he enjoys his Tesla. I hope he can sleep at night with videos like this. I wouldn't be able to. Not my thing. I think it's very disingenuous. But hey, to each their own. At the end of the day, I don't think any of you should take any stock into this. You guys asked me to make this video. Here are my thoughts at the end of this. He's not technical in any sense. He didn't make a single valid point. I mean, you could have honestly made a point talking about how there's certain maximas with sight and full self-driving and latency. And, I mean, you could have actually made a computational argument against FSD, which would have actually been credible. You could have talked about potential issues with China and Ukraine and Russia and things of that nature, and what happens if China decides to take over the Tesla factories and make it and nationalize them. You could make that argument. You could make an argument about what happens if something happens with Elon Musk. I mean, there's many different arguments you could have made where I would have been like, yeah, okay, that's a good point. I doubt it'll happen, but he didn't. Instead, he made no real points. He misinterpreted Simon Sinek's entire golden circle, which is kind of embarrassing. Like, he needs to go rewatch that TED Talk to really understand it. He showed some examples of customer experiences that, again, a missing brake pad, and that he extrapolates, oh, it's going to be a viral, infectious thing, and she's never going to recommend anything to anybody. How do you know that, Ben? You don't know that. You don't know what happens. Again, all it takes, you know what it takes? It takes a little 3-year-old girl in the back seat, and you're in the front seat, and you floor it, and she immediately goes, and then you hear her giggle and love it and say, again, mama, again. And that's it. It's done. she will recommend Tesla to everybody, and that's what he doesn't get. He's so out of touch with reality. He doesn't get it. If you really want to know what's happening, look at the younger generation. Look at them. They know what's going on. Little kids know what a Tesla is. Little kids are on TikTok and running out and telling their dads, hey, look at this light show. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right, well, those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. If you want to know what my pick is, I'm going for the Bengals. I have no dog in this fight, so I'm just going for the underdogs. Rams will probably win, but hey, I'm going for the Bengals. All right, so we're gonna leave it there for today. I haven't said this at all, but if you like this type of content, if you want to help us out, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and yeah, let's go Bengals. Peace.